Hey minions, welcome to Crank It Up. I'm Jim Price, and today I want to talk about my top 10 favorite faction combos. This video is not what you think it is. A number of viewers asked me to do a video on my top 10 favorite pairings, but that's pretty impossible for me. It's rare that I get to play the same combination multiple times. And with the sheer amount of combinations I love, trying to distill that list down to 10 would be a nightmare. So what is this video? Exactly what it says, literally. Not long ago, I shared my top 10 favorite factions, so these are my top 10 favorite faction combos, that is, my top 10 favorite combinations using those 10 factions. It's a much smaller list, 45 compared to over 2,000, and there are some truly great pairings here. If you need a reminder, my top 10 were Vigilantes, Giant Ants, Werewolves, Innsmouth, Musketeers, Cyborg Apes, Shapeshifters, Elves, Superheroes, and Rockstars. Because the scope was relatively smaller, I did actually go through all 45, though I instantly knew what my number 1 would be, and you should too. I haven't played all 45 combos, but I have played all the ones that are on the top 10, many of them multiple times, which is rare lately. It was also great to go back through the list and see who I hadn't played in a while, and now I'm dying to play them again. I don't like to do honorable mentions, because it feels like a top 11 in that case, but there is one pairing I somehow never thought to play, and I want to try them as soon as possible. Elven Shapeshifters. Somehow I never thought to try these two, and I won't say why I'm intrigued until after, but I want to play them as soon as I can. I'm only mentioning them because I think they would crack the list if I had actually played them. Nevertheless, the next 10 are tried and true pairings for my playstyle, and they are really enjoyable to play. I'm ranking them based on my favoritism and not their strength factor. My number 10 is Superhero Werewolves. There is a lot to like about this combo even without the Titan, which is incredibly strong with the Titan. Werewolves are easy to get to 4 power. If you can get to 4 with one play, it's not hard to get to 5 and put them in Justice Friend's range. The superheroes excel at having the most power, which helps with the werewolves giving them card draw and extra actions, which the superheroes love. There's a very efficient marking territory play with the burst, and mild-mannered citizens in general make it easy to trip marking territory. Add in the fact that Howler makes for a great single-base sidekick, and there are a lot of avenues to play this faction. You can start with just a mild-mannered citizen at the start of your turn, and end up with 22 power easily. Incredibly, I've never played this combo with their Titan, and I need to crack that soon. My number 9 is the Giant Ant Musketeers. I like this combination because you have to play it differently from most Musketeer plays, and it also makes Aramis incredibly powerful. One of the Musketeer problems is that their actions are all temporary in nature, making it hard to derive a lot of value from their minions. But the Giant Ants have permanent, global effects that make it worth triggering them multiple times. Gimme the Prize is a standout, as it can affect D'Artagnan and Aramis, and they don't have to be on the same base. That follow-up action can be another Gimme the Prize, which puts you in prime position for an eventual double We Will Rock You. You can even transfer the counters off Aramis, which affects him, setting up a very potent We Will Rock You. This is another pairing where the Titan can greatly boost their strength, speeding what is already a faster Giant Ant pairing. If you try to play them the normal Musketeer way, you'll find them lacking, but the spread approach actually works wonders here. My number 8 is Rockstar Werewolves. This should have been another tournament victory for me, but the other 3 players ganged up on me to keep the Great Wolf Spirit out of play. Gotta love 2-player smash-up. Double Monarch Talents is fantastic. Adding the Werewolf double card draw to the Rockstar card draw is fantastic. Extra actions for the Rockstars make it possible to go from 0 to 5 groupies and play them in a single turn. Marking territory is one of the few times to play the groupies first, rickrolling them to another base after it has broken. I still have an open question out as to whether or not Classic Rocker can be double tapped. I always play conservatively and say that he can't, but from my perspective, one Classic Rocker's ability refers to the card, and it's the same card. So I'm not using the abilities of 2 Classic Rockers. I'm still only using the ability of one Classic Rocker, just using it twice. I really hope this doesn't come down to an apostrophe, because this is why my friends hate card text games. My number 7 is the Rockstar Innsmouth, and I want to be very clear that this combination is without their Titan, because this is a very good pairing without Dagon, and Dagon makes them broken to the point of being unfair. Even before Titans existed, One of my first blog posts was how to win with Innsmouth, and my number one pick was Rockstars. You get the card draw of both factions, and the chance to undo many great cards on the bottom. The Innsmouth give you plenty of minions to play while you hold on to your groupies, and you still have Return to the Sea for your groupies. This combination to me is the canonical example of why you shouldn't always include Titans, and that the right synergy should be the focus. Not every combination needs to be overpowered, and no combination should be broken, and there's a lot to like about this combination in its OG form. My number 6 is Musketeer Shapeshifters. Having multiple Gelf targets for the Musketeers offers a lot of strategic nuance and choices. The Shapeshifters have a decent selection of play-on-minion actions that give reasons to play your Musketeers early. I like Mitosis for getting out those young Musketeers so that they can be buffed together with One for All. Genetic Shift is also a great Musketeer finisher as a global boost that can trigger multiple Musketeers. The Shapeshifters normally run out of minions, but the Musketeers balance that by putting greater emphasis on actions, and the result is just a really fun pairing. You trade Mimic upside for the near guarantee of being 4 power. My number 5 is Cyborg Ape Werewolves for pretty much everything I said in my Cyberback video. For this combination, you definitely want the Great Wolf Spirit. The werewolves put greater emphasis on minions, which complements the Cyborg Ape emphasis on actions. The power-based destruction of the werewolves loves the raw power of Cyborg Apes. Both factions have card draw and extra action plays. You're only playing 1 minion per turn, but that should be all you need because you have so much raw power. I love forcing the dilemma of making someone choose between marking territory base and the Cyberback base, and I love making them the same base sometimes. This combination makes Clyde 2.0 a necessity because you can play all your play-on-minion actions so quickly you may not even need Cyberback. One thing I will say, be careful where you play Leader of the Pack and Moontouched. Make sure you inadvertently don't overtake yourself like I did that one time. My number 4 is Superhero Shapeshifters. I used to play this combo to death. Mimics are near guarantees to be 5 power and are perfect for Not Really Dead. Some might argue that there are no good Gelf targets, but a strategic copycat goes a long way, and even Gelfing into a Mimic so that it can be a 5 for Justice Friend's range provides value. Mimic is an even better sidekick than Howler. Given how much minion recursion the superheroes have, burning through your minions is acceptable. You can easily play 5s from your hand, deck, and discard pile with Shell Game, and the burst is a fantastic doppelganger target as it gives you a head start on any base of your choice because of his mobility. When superheroes first came out, I played princesses a ton, but I also love them with shapeshifters, and it's only because new pairings have come along that this isn't my number 1 given the criteria. My number 3 is Cyborg Ape Musketeers. With their 0 to breakpoint Cyberback plays, you can get 2 bases in an instant if you arrange it properly. Fun fact, at one point during playtesting, All for One gave you an extra action, which was broken with Cyberback as he could jump out and play every action and easily smash 2 bases by himself. It was rightfully changed, but really fun for a while. The Cyborg Apes have no shortage of actions that directly affect minions, and they are permanent, which means they don't all have to be played on the same turn. And yet you could totally do it, then do it again with Cyberback. Having a free movement action really helps line up Clyde 2.0. You can line up both Aramis and Clyde 2.0, play both Cyber Evolutions for 14 total power, and then immediately get them back. With this combo, I'm actually perfectly fine using Furious Georges as throwaway minions to use my plays while I get to the better cards. Again, both factions have card draw, which ensures that you get to utilize their ceiling, a ceiling that is crazy high. My number 2 should have been pretty telegraphed when I talked about shapeshifting musketeers, because the only thing that is better than 4 targets is 7 targets. For a brief moment, I thought shapeshifting vigilantes was unstoppable, because that's how I felt. No, they aren't unstoppable. In fact, I don't know how they rank overall. And I don't care, because wow, this combination is so much fun. Plenty of Gelf targets, and it's so easy to get to 4 power for massive card draw. You will never run out of minions because you have Shift, and Shift can be played from the discard pile. You can keep playing the same few minions, which is exactly what I did. And the Vigilantes make it really easy to pull off the Shapeshifter Indestructible play. Throw in Let's Finish This for an efficient victory, and this combination just screams power. This is the Shapeshifter equivalent of Superhero Princesses, and while there are more overall choices in Superhero Princesses, I love the choices here, and it just seems faster to bring them out with the Shapeshifter action plays. If you haven't tried this faction, pause this video and go play right now. And now we're at my number 1. My number 1 should have been obvious, and I don't know if they will stay number 1 forever, but I'm loyal and just have an extreme attachment to them because of tournament victories. Superhero Rockstars. This is just a fast deck that is extremely consistent. I don't consider them overpowered, but they just work well together. Captain Amazing loves the groupies, who can become a 15 power drop. Add that to her base power of 5, and you start with 20 with just a single play. Groupies are great for not really dead, and it speeds up your time bomb significantly. They also make a fantastic sidekick target. The Monarch is a fantastic mild-mannered citizen target because you can start grabbing your groupies on turn 2. Add in even more recursion from the Rockstars, not to mention their card draw, while ending with some much-needed movement for the superheroes, and you have a deck that is straightforward, elegant, powerful, and most importantly, consistent. The reason I like this combination so much is that you still have raw power. You don't just have to play groupies. This means that you can use raw power to break Eliza's base, opening a spot for your groupies on the next turn. You could also cancel Eliza in 2 different ways, one of which is really easy to get to. It seems very insulated from most counters, but never feels broken. To me, it has that perfect sweet spot of beatable, yet always competitive. It doesn't necessarily counter anything, but feels counterproof, and I always like my chances with this combination, which is why they've remained number 1 for years. There is one gotcha with this team, and it's that the Rockstar card draw can actually make you draw all of your superheroes, rendering your mild-mannered citizens useless. But this can be a good problem to have, as it is faster. So those are my top 10 combos using only my favorite factions. I hate to see elves not on the list, but there just aren't any good candidates for them, and I haven't tried them with shapeshifters yet. What are your favorites using your top 10? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, be sure to like and subscribe. Let's shut it down.